Hey guys, Glitler again for SingleGrinders.com. This video is 3 hands from a coaching session. Oh, I love these hands so much. It's one of my favorite topics. We're going to talk about hero folds. I think I've done some videos on this in the past, but it never hurts to talk about some of these hands because these are absolutely wonderful hands. Not only because I think he played them really well, but because this is something that will make a big difference in your results if you learn how to think the way that this student of mine is thinking. Okay, let's begin. A boring old limp. This is a $2 180 man. Honestly, I don't care what game it is. 9, 18, 6. Well, it's clearly not a 6 man because the number of people. But whatever game you're in, the important thing is hand reading. He makes a great raise, 3 times plus the limper. The limper calls. Okay, let's put him on a range. I have no idea. Tons of hands. Probably not good ones, though. Let's see what develops. 10-4 3 flop. Very, very safe. Okay, well, the standard thing to do is to bet here, but when you bet, all you want to make sure you're thinking about, like Wicked Souls is doing, is what do I get value from? So Jack 10, probably not Queen 10 because you have 2 queens. King 10, Ace 10, 10-9, 10-8, pocket 5s through 9s, maybe some weird pocket 2s, maybe an Ace 4 or an Ace 3, maybe a King 4 suited, King 3 suited, heck, King 3 offsuit for all I know. You see guys here who have 6-4 parts. Okay. So he bets a modest 150 and a 285. Perfectly fine bet. He gets called. Well, that tells us the guy has something. All those hands we just mentioned are possibilities. The 7 comes. Okay, well, doesn't mean it's bad, but you want to think about what that 7 changes. 5-6 becomes a straight. I forgot to mention draws on the flop for value, so let me name some flop draws that you get value from. Ace 2, Ace 5, 5-6. I don't know why someone would have 2-5, but maybe like 5-2 suited. 5-7, 6-7, stuff like that. So the 7 comes out. That's not scary. He checks. Definitely bet for value, somewhere around 3, 350, 400. Okay. He bets 175. Okay. Why? Why so small? Well, it's not bad. I do think he's missing a little bit of value, but if you think about it, and this is what we were talking about in the coaching session, was he said he bet small because a lot of the stuff that this guy has are probably going to be like a 3 or a 4 or a relatively weak hand like 9s, 8s, 5s, or 6s, something like that. So the 7 kind of makes a 3 and a 4 now. It demotes them to essentially bottom pair and second to bottom pair. So he's betting small to keep those hands in. It makes a lot of sense. There's my dog making a funny noise in the background. Okay, so he calls. Okay. And now the river is a 5. Well, what does that change? Well, a glaring 6, a flush draw. But my question is whenever that comes, I wonder, how did someone get there? Like, if he had a 6, how did he have a 6 from the beginning? He didn't raise the turn. If someone check raises the turn, 5-6 seems a lot more likely. I don't really think this guy has 5-6. So my question is, how does he have a 6? He limps pre-flop with Ace-6. Okay, Ace-6 of what? Clubs? And then so he calls with a draw. Or does he have something like 6-4 parts like we mentioned earlier? He limps pre-flop, he calls the raise because he thinks the hand's pretty, he calls a flop because he has a pair. The turn comes out, well, now he has a pair and a gut shot, and now he has a 6. So regardless of what you're thinking about, it's always a really, really good way to study or a way to practice improving hand reading is to play the hands in reverse and try and think about how someone ended up with the hand that you think that they may have. Well, he hasn't even done anything, so we don't want to jump to conclusions. But then this happens. Oh, snap. That's not good. Perfect English. Now what? How does that make you feel? Personally, it makes me kind of throw up inside. So one thing that's really important to consider here is also that the way that this is a little bit different from most hands early on is that you've already doubled up. Wicked Souls clearly started the hand with a 3,000 chip stack, so he somehow in this particular game doubled up already. Whereas when you don't double up, if you call here and you lose, you're out. Well, the good news is if you call here and you lose, you're just back to where you started, so it's like you get a mulligan or a do-over or whatever. But that shouldn't take away from the fact that you should probably fold this. Probably every single time. The reason is that most people, when they play the hand like this guy did, most of the opponents you're going to play against, it's not really just a random river shove. When something changes, and if you're taking notes, I would write this down. If you're not, just remember this. When something changes in the way your opponent is playing the hand, ask yourself, what card did he change on? And then ask yourself, what does that card change? Specifically in this hand, a straight or a flush. So I would give this guy, I would put him on a 6 or a flush every single time. And then if you want to work backwards to figure out what hands fit the way he played this hand, that fit a 6 or a flush, how about ace 6 of clubs? He calls pre-flop, I don't know, he floats the flop, he turns a gut shot and a flush draw, he calls, and he gets all excited because he hits everything on the river and shoves. I'll guarantee you this guy does not have a 10. Because why did he check call a 10, and then shove the river? Doesn't make sense. Why did he change all of a sudden? 10-5? And even bad people know when there's 4 to a straight on the board. But the whole thing is when you have queens right here. Now, think about this. Forget about all that stuff we just said. What if you just think about what do you beat? Well, let's go down the list. You beat pocket jacks. Okay, but he doesn't have pocket jacks. Look at the way he played the hand. You beat pocket 9s. Well, that's possible. He could have 9s. Oh, but wait a minute. Why did he check, call, shove? That makes no sense. But if you go down the list and you make the hands worse and worse, like you go 9s to 8s, can't do 6s, that's a straight. Oh, that makes a... Oh, I didn't think of that. Calls with 6s pre-flop. Calls the flop. Because I have second pair. Calls the turn because now he has a draw. Hits the draw and shoves. 6s makes a whole lot of sense. Does he have 2s? No. And then what's... does a pair of 10s? Well, why did he play it differently? A pair of 4s? Why did he do this all of a sudden? Unless it's 4-6 or 3-6 or 7-6. I would say he has 3-6, 4-6, 7-6, 6s, or ace 6 of clubs. Or it could even be like a pair of 3s that, with the 3 of clubs and another club, could be a slowly played top pair with the 10 of clubs and the jack of clubs, something like that. Comes down to you don't beat a damn thing. But for some reason, so many players call this because I can't fold an overpair. You should fold this every single time. Will you ever be bluffed here? Maybe sometimes, and it's really rare. Please. It took me 70,000 games to learn all this stuff. Just listen to me. Just fold here every single time. Don't worry about if, are you getting bluffed or whatever, because you're usually not. Check it out.